get my 6. Pardon me for doing this throughout most of the video. There are gnats everywhere. We're starting down here below the campground today because our wild indigenous native milkweed is in full bloom. And there are bumblebees and butterflies and all kinds of beautiful pollinators all over the place. And it smells heavenly. So I'm going to take the phone off the tripod here and zoom in on some of this beautiful pollination that's going on here. Then we're going to walk up this way and see if we may or may not just potentially see him, her, it, or they. And I'm going to tell you about the wonderful day I just spent with my sisters, 2 of the 3. One couldn't make it this time. She will make it next time. But 2 of my wonderful sisters and one of my nieces. I'm exhausted. So this video probably isn't going to be a 30-minute long video. I'm so tired from laughing all day with these ladies. It's probably only going to be like a 29-minute long video. If you think I'm funny, it's easy to see. It runs in the DNA. But let me show you some of this pollination stuff going on first. This is absolutely beautiful. And I wish you had smell-o-vision. This milkweed smells divine. Did you see that hawk that just flew down through there? I don't know if I hit record in time, but I get so excited, you know, mid to late June through the first half of July every year when this goes on. Look at all those beautiful bumblebees, all over those big puffball milkweed flowers. Oh, there's a beautiful butterfly out there. The monarchs aren't out yet. They'll come out a little bit later, but there's several different types of butterflies in here. So keep your eyes on the milkweed flowers. I'll walk around here. This entire section, there's no trees really to speak of growing in here. We're letting this whole back meadow part back here reforest. We got a poplar here and a poplar here and a black haw there, poplar way over there. But all this is a big giant milkweed patch. And once we discovered this, our first summer here, we decided not to put any trees in here because this is going to be specifically left for the pollinators. Look at this beauty right here. Hi, beautiful butterfly type pollinator. Anybody know what kind of butterfly that is? All right. So, oh wow, they're coming up through here too. I wish you guys could smell this. It's beautiful. Man, there's some really big bumblebees in there. Look at those. They're huge. I'm not going in there to rumble with that bumble. Man, butterflies everywhere. Gorgeous. All right. Let's walk up here. Let's do this thing where I walk backwards sometimes and sneak up potentially right on them. So, had a great day. It started early. My first sister, she pulled in. We met at an IHOP down in Charlottesville. And the first one rolls in at 9:30 because we're supposed to meet at 10. So she was 30 minutes early. The other one was 30 minutes late. She rolls in at 10:30. So, but it's all good because the one that was late, I'd spent 6 hours on the phone talking to her over the last couple of days. So this is got to spend an hour alone with the other one and her daughter, my niece, who was like 4 or 6 the last time I saw her. She's a little girl now. She's an 18-year-old woman, grown woman working at McDonald's, trying to figure out what she might want to do, you know, from this point. It's crazy just how time goes by. So it was great catching up. It was wonderful catching up. I'm tired from laughing. I mean, just all day laughter. We ate it. This is just an example. And, you know, I have to really, just this wit, this quick-witted humor that is just in our DNA that goes all the way back to a high seas sailing pirate, our great-grandfather, true story, Scandinavian pirate that, well, I can't go into too much detail. But we're in IHOP, right? We're in Virginia. We're in the South now. Now, these ladies are all from West by God, Virginia, which fought for the North during the Civil War. They're north of the, well, no, they're actually south of the Mason-Dixon line. But it's not really considered a Southern state because of its history with the Civil War. unless if you're from the Northeast, then they consider it to be a southern state. They say based upon culture, but there really is not a whole lot of similarities. Let me tell you, Appalachian culture and southern culture are two very distinct cultures, and I think it's kind of an arrogant thing for people outside of those cultures to try to lump them together, because they are very, very much just like Pacific Northwest culture and a pure like California West Coast culture and Pacific Northwest culture, day and night difference in so many ways. But here's my point. We're in IHOP, and our wonderful waitress Pauline comes by. She takes our drink orders, and my sisters, they order unsweetened iced tea with sweet and low. And then, so I, of course, being in the, a southern man now all these years, I order a sweet tea. And so the waitress goes to get our drinks, and I told my sisters, I said, we're in Virginia now. We drink sweet tea here. And they said, one of them says, yeah, well, we're from West Virginia. We drink unsweetened tea with sweet and low, or we get diabetes. And I just lost it. And been laughing for the hour before we went into the restaurant before that, but the laughter just kept coming more and more from there. That quick-witted humor, the kind of stuff you can't think about and make up, it just kind of comes out. Tell you, if my sisters got into this type of thing and did what I did, they'd put me out of business. Look, I found an apple. Huh. Isn't that neat? I saw this a few days ago. I don't know if I was recording at the time or not. It's bigger now. We've got one whole apple up here. I'm going to eat it. Now, I'll save that. Me, Dearly, and Daniel, what we'll do is when that thing matures and ripens, we'll cut it into 3 pieces and we'll share it if that's the only one we get. So, we're going to kind of revert back to some of the stuff we try to get on film here while I talk about this stuff, because the newness, a lot of this reconnect, it's not worn off. I'm still very excited about it. Something moved. Let me flip the camera. Ugh, dang it. It's got a gnat in my eye. Something's moving around back in here. You know what it sounded like? It sounded like somebody... It didn't sound like footsteps. It sounded like somebody dumping rice out of a sack, like emptying a rice sack. That was the strangest sound. Hear those catbirds back there? They're pretty much a mainstay. But what could we have heard? Could that possibly have been Bigfoot Sasquatch? Did Bigfoot Sasquatch sneak in here and come in here to hear about the great day I just spent with my sisters and one of my nieces? Did you hear that? It sounded like a howl. It's a new X. That wasn't there last time I was in these woods. It's new. Get my 6 as I walk down the hill. See if we're being followed as I continue to tell this tale. All right, so we had a great time having like a very super late breakfast there at IHOP, and they live in different places, but it was a 4-hour drive one way for both of them. So I was like, you guys want to leave your cars here, jump in the truck, I'll take you out, show you my place, hang out for half an hour or so, and I'll bring you back and be on your way. So they're like, yeah, that'd be great. So everybody jumps in my truck. We come out here, and we were out here for like 4 or 5 hours. And it felt like 5 minutes. It felt like 10 minutes. it didn't feel as if I had not been with these girls for 10 years. Upon sight, upon hugging, is just jumping right into a conversation as if we had just had our last conversation last week, not last decade. And I noticed that when I noticed that smooth transition, I was very grateful that that's the way it felt and that that's how it went. And it was just like that all day long. So we're out here, and I tried to get them to walk around the entire property because they like the house. Oh, I got a story about that too. But I like the outside better than the inside. And I told them, if I'm home and I'm awake and it's not pissing down the rain or pissing down the snow, I'm outside. So we walked up here to the campground, but that's as far as we made it. One of my sisters said, your property is huge. And I said, yeah, you realize it's bigger than the neighborhood we grew up in? And she says, yeah. And I'm not walking across the rest of it. This looks like the shortest route to the house. We're going into the air conditioning. So we did, but they got to see it, and, but after a while we went back outside. We were riding Daniel's four-wheeler. I got out the new zero-turn mower, and they had never ridden a zero-turn mower before. So everybody rode the zero-turn, both my sisters and my little niece. And one of my sisters has a close to 4 acres in an old house where she lives. And she left here not owning a zero-turn mower. But in her very near future, she's going to own a zero-turn mower because she saw how awesome it was. And she saw how much wider the cut is. And so anyway, but here's something that's really neat. Okay, and this is my sister Elizabeth I'm talking about. This is the one that's 8 years younger than me, but is probably more like me personality-wise than the other two. Her birthday is 5 days after mine. Of course, 8 years and 5 days after mine, but we're both Sagittarius, so we both like to talk a lot. She walks in to the house, into the living room, and she's just staring at the wall, and she goes, oh my God, this is exactly like the walls in my house. And I said, oh, the luscious mango I painted behind the wood stove, I painted luscious mango. She goes, no, not the color, the actual material, the style. And she's feeling it. She says, the whole original part of my house back in Appalachian is just like this. I said, well, maybe they were built in the same era. I said, do you know what year your house was built? And she says, yeah, 1903. That's the same year my house was built. What are the odds of something like that happening, Here it is. She's the youngest of my sisters, but more like me personality-wise and everything than the other two. Both Sagittarius. We have the same eyes and all this stuff. We look a lot alike. And we both ended up buying old farmhouses from the same year, 1903. That's pretty neat, isn't it? All right, so anyway, I'm not going to stay out here forever because these gnats are getting to me. And I mean, I literally wore myself out laughing today. They did too. I only had like a 25-minute drive to get home. They got to go for 4 hours. So I feel kind of bad for them in that regard. But, there's still some people I got to reach out to. Within the next 48 hours, these people will be reached out to. So you know who you are. Please stop blowing up the other people's phones to whom I've already reached out. You're on the list. You're coming. It's taking me some time. And it's kind of emotionally, I don't want to say emotionally exhaustive, but it's emotionally draining in a good way. These are people I'm reaching out there and talking to that I haven't talked to in more than a decade. And it feels wonderful. But once I've done that for so many hours, like in the instance of today's case, by the time they left, 8 hours, that's a full work day, brah. And I need to just be done for the day, and I'm going to be. So I'm going to start reaching out to people again tomorrow. I know you're watching this video. I'm going to reach out to you tomorrow and the next day. Just be patient. Hang in there. I've got your contact info. You will be hearing from me, all right? Now, as far as my beautiful bride, Dearly, a.k.a. Giggly Girl, and our wonderful son, Daniel, goes, they did safely make it from the mountainous region, very remote mountainous region where they were in the Philippines, where there was not enough internet connection bandwidth wise, at least, to upload videos. They made it safely from there back to the city. They're there. I'm assuming she's probably going to upload and publish a video this evening, so watch for that on her channel, Life with Dearly. And they're still doing great. We've got like 9 days to go until they're back. Everybody's looking forward to seeing them. The girls that were here today were like, when can we come meet Dearly and Daniel? And I'm like, you know, pretty much any time, but let's give them a couple of weeks after they get back to readjust to the time zone difference, because I want you to meet them. I don't want you to meet the zombies they're going to be for 10 to 14 days. You know, with that 12-hour time difference, they're going to be exhausted from the trip anyway. 25-hour total travel time from the time you enter your first airport until you fly halfway around the world, literally, and step out of your last airport. It's 25 hours. So, you know, I told them wait until they've been back a couple weeks so that they will actually, you'll be meeting them, not an exhausted version of them that thinks it's nighttime, even though it's the middle of the afternoon. So, and they were cool with that. They understood that. And so that's going to happen too. We got a lot of stuff going on this summer, a lot of reconnecting for me, a lot of new connections for my wife Dearly and Daniel and my siblings and my parents and some other folks who are like family. And it's just exciting. It's just, it's a freedom that I have not had in more than a decade. There was a great weight. There was a gray cloud. These things are gone. This bondage from these issues are gone. And it just feels wonderful, but it is tiring. So I'm going to wrap this up. See if we can see anything up in here. Well, as I do. Thanks for being here with me, and maybe tomorrow I'll have a little bit more energy to throw into a video, but I wanted to give you the update on that and let you know how my day went. See you for more next time from here at Homesteading Off the Grid and whatever the hell this channel is about.